You're really romantic?
Yeah, I think so.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, I just think I am. I mean, I think, especially when I was, you know, 15 to 20, and you think that life's going to be like the movies, you know, and all that kind of thing. I just am a romantic. I like happy endings.
But were you dreaming about the perfect career, the perfect man, the perfect setup?
I don't know, maybe I was. I mean, I don't really remember now specifically what I was thinking at the time, but I never really dreamt that what would happen with my career would happen, because it was happening. It was perfect the way it was happening, but I didn't know where it was going to end up. You know, I was kind of open to anything. I mean, I thought my career was doing very well before Greece, but I didn't realise how much bigger it was until after the movie, because in every country, I mean, I went to Paris to shopping, and people knew my face in the street, and I went to Amsterdam, and you didn't speak English, but they knew my face. Said, "Olivia, oh God, please, I can't escape." But it's great. It's fantastic that the film has done that well. I'm thrilled, but you know,
Scary?
It's scary a little. Sometimes it is. I've been scared while being mobbed. I think the most scary was the Grease premiere in London with John Travolta. And we were in a limousine. It was like the Beatles, really, because they jumped on top of the car, screaming and lying over it and banging on the windows and banging on the roof. And it was really, really frightening. I thought they were going to come through the roof. And we couldn't get out. And John's date, Mary Lou, was getting out of the car, and they almost ripped all her clothes off. I mean, it was really frightening. And we managed to get in with about 5 policemen around us like that, but we were both very shaken up. We didn't go into the film. John wasn't yet a big movie star because Saturday Night Fever wasn't even released, but I knew he would be a big star. You know, I'm not an actress, so to speak, so I was nervous about it. He was terrific, very encouraging and supportive, which he was all the way through the film.
What sort of song did you really prefer at the time?
I've always loved ballads, I think. Ballads are my...
Like coyotes outside of the desert, you know.
Gate. Here they go. I think ballads have always been my favourite thing.
Right.
Good heaven. They're very protective, my dogs, as you can hear.
Why ballads?
I don't know, because I think I'm a romantic. I am a romantic, and ballads are usually sad and sentimental, and I enjoy singing them. You be quiet. I ask you. At least he can pant.
Who's that, Jackson?
Yeah, my dog. Shh.
How did you get him?
He was actually given to me by a fan when I was on a tour about 5 years ago. I was in a place called Jackson in Mississippi, and a fan rang me up and said that he knew that my favourite dog was an Irish setter, and he had a litter, and he'd like me to have the pick of the litter. And I resisted and resisted, and then when he brought the puppy around, I think I was at a show and I came back and he was locked in the bathroom, and I opened the door and there's this little tiny thing with a trail behind him, of course. And he was mine from that minute. Oh no, I couldn't let him go, he was so cute. I love you. I honestly love you. I acquire dogs. I think people know I'm a soft touch, so they ring me up whenever they've got a stray or a dog that needs a home or something. So.
Did you always have animals around you?
No, I think that's why I have such a passion for them. When I was a little girl, I wasn't allowed to have animals. I lived in university grounds in Australia. And so I used to bring strays home, which was my excuse for, you know, at least I could have them temporarily. And I was always bringing home, you know, lost dogs and stray kittens and things. And then my mother and I lived in an apartment and I couldn't have dogs then, so I decided that was my main goal, to have a house so that I could have animals, and I think I made up for all the years. Yes, I didn't.
It's not your only goal. It wasn't your only goal.
No, but it was one of them.
So you were born in England, then you went to Australia, in Melbourne.
I was born in England, and my family migrated to Australia when I was 5. My father was offered a position at a university there. So I was a little girl when I left England, so Australia really feels like my home because I grew up there and I don't really have any English accent or anything.
What was he teaching?
He was a professor of German.
Do you speak German?
No, because my mother is German, and when my parents wanted to speak in private, they would talk in German, so I couldn't understand, so I never learned. They wouldn't teach me.
Do you remember when you started singing for the first time?
14. I had a girlfriend at school. We used to mess around singing, and we met 2 other girls, and we used to go to these jazz clubs. And I remember the first time we did it, we got pennies thrown at us. We were so abominable. My brother-in-law had a coffee lounge, and I used to go there, and they had a folk singer up on the stage, and I used to sing along with him from where I was sitting. Until one day he invited me up on stage with him, and I went and did one song with him, and then he said, well, why don't you come at the weekends and sing with me? That's really how it started. Jackson? Do you want to play something for me? Huh?
Attracted to classical music or never?
Classical music, I like it now, but for many years I didn't like it at all because my parents were divorced when I was about 10, and my father used to listen to classical music all the time, and I associated somehow classical with him, and when I heard it and he wasn't there, it used to make me very sad. So for years and years I wouldn't listen to it. Now I've realised, you know, what it was that made me feel that way, and I enjoy it now. I was told about this talent contest that was on television that was going to be on the equivalent of American Bandstand over here. And much to my amazement, I won the whole thing, and the prize was a trip to England and a bit of prize money. So here I was, 15, and first thing I did, I won. I was very lucky.
It's a fairy tale. So
it is. The trip that I had won on that talent contest, the ticket was only valid for a year, so my mother said, if we're going, we have to go now. Now, I really didn't want to go to England. I really didn't want to leave. I was very happy in Australia and believed that Australia was all there was. I stayed in England and joined a group.
What sort of group?
Terrible group. There were 3 guys and myself, and it looked like it was going to be terrific because Don Kirshner, who put the Monkees together, was one partner, one producer, and Harry Saltzman, who made all the James Bond movies, was the other partner. Now, you'd think it couldn't miss, wouldn't you? Wrong. It was really bad.
I mean, bad, like which way?
Just terrible. They thought we were going to be the Monkees of the 70s, you know, and we were going... Our first movie was, how can I explain this? A space musical, in that we were... They picked, you know, the 4 types they thought would be perfect. I was like the all-American or all-English or whatever you wanted, Australian girl. Yeah. We had a very good-looking American Midwestern cowboy-type guy, a black Philadelphian drummer who was really cool and really cute, and an English Tommy Steele Cockney character. These were the 4 of us, and we were put together, never met each other before, and told to rehearse, you know, what do we do now? And we made this film, and the script was terrible, and everything was terrible, and they put a lot of money behind it, and it opened and closed in about a week. After a year of... The typical story was they rang us up and said, come to New York, so... And, you know, they first-class fares, and they gave me... My sister could come with me as chaperone. I arrived in New York and rang the office and said, we're here, and they said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, you told me to come, and said, oh, no, that wasn't for 2 weeks, so they sent us on holiday. It was that kind of thing for a year. I had 2 half coyotes, that's a wild dog around here, who were found at the side of the road. They were starving to death and very frightened, and the girl who looks after my animals brought them and said, we just keep them till I can find a home, and that was 3 years ago. They're still here. Okay, that's enough of that noise. Are you ready? Huh? Come on. Come on. That's enough of that. Shh, shh. You bad boy. Get down, get down, get down. Get down, baby. Hi, Zoggy. How you doing? Come on. Woo! Doofus, doofus, doofus.
So when you don't do a song immediately, you stop.
Yeah, most of the songs that I've written in half an hour. Boom, finish. And unless I do that, I very rarely go back and finish them if I don't feel inspired, which is lazy. I mean, if you're a real songwriter, you sit down and you finish it. Even if it's not good, you finish it and then revise it. But as it's not my bread and butter, it's just kind of a hobby. I don't. Xanadu it's a fantasy. It's a musical fantasy with a lot of dancing and very good music. I'm really thrilled with the music. I play a muse.
Which one?
For those of you, I played terpsichore, song and dance or something. I didn't know what a muse was. When I first started doing the script and it had muse, I had to quickly read up on them. So anyway, I come down from heaven, or wherever you want to call it, from time, yeah, to help this young man fulfill his dream. And there's also an older man who is played by Gene Kelly, who knew me when he was a young man, but doesn't realise I'm the same girl.
You still haven't told me really how do you see the future.
Oh,
you told me work-wise, but...
Okay, for me, I guess as I'm getting into my 30s, or I'm in my 30s, I'm beginning to think more about a family than I did when I was in my 20s, and that was the furthest thing from my mind, really, because I was enjoying my career so much. I think that would be nice at some stage. I don't have a time limit, but I begin to think that I have so much I'd like to be able to share it with, you know.
Have you ever been married?
No, I haven't. When I do it, I want to do it for keeps, so I'm not rushing. I've been saying that for a long time.
Do you have sometimes a thought when you meet somebody you like that, I mean, are you worried that he likes you because you're famous, or?
Of course, there's always that thing, you know, is he carried away by the fact that that I am famous or whatever, or does he like me for me, or is he after something? But you have to use your instincts and hope that, and trust them and hope that you're right. I think generally people show themselves for what they are in one way or another, and hopefully it's not too late by then.
So how do you imagine your future husband?
Just to be kind and gentle and thoughtful. That's it. I guess you fall in love with people, they're not always exactly what you are looking for. Just the loving them is the most important part.